Now, when you talk about the super, what is super? So super keyword in Java is a reference variable that is used to refer parent class object. Parent class object. Okay, we'll see this. So the keyword super came into the picture with the concept of inheritance. We know the inheritance, right? So inheritance, like we are getting the property of parent class and using in a child class. We use extend keyword there, right? So the keyword super keyword came into the picture with the concept of inheritance. It is majority. It's a majority used in the following text. So one, let's try here. So how we can use it now? We'll see in practical. We'll say super and keyword. So here I will say we can try to have a. Right. So I will use a super keyword with a variable. So what I can do here is we'll say it will have one variable here. So it's like max speed, which is a 120. I can give anything. So it's 120. And then if I have one more class, so here this is one done. I'll be creating one more class here. Okay. Now we'll use inherit property as well here, inheritance. So we'll create one more. Here in this class, only I'm having one variable. That's it. Now another class, if I say tar, every tar will have a different speed, right? We'll have one more tar here. So this is my tar. Now if I say this is vehicle is my super class and this is my child class. Okay. So if I say here, let me do one thing. First of all, let me extend this because we need to use that property, right? We need to use that variable there in the vehicle, in the parents. We'll say, what's the class name? Vehicle. We'll just copy this one and we'll use here. That's it. Now we are good to use that variable here. Now, what to do here? We'll say, we'll have one more variable here. So we'll say max speed. We are having same variable here. Now, in the previous program, when I say when we work with this, we were having both the variable in same class. There's no different class here. We are having one class, and that's why we were having confusion here, and that's why we use this keyword here. But here we are having separate classes. We are extending the property of parent class into a child class. Okay, so now we can also have one more variable here. So we'll same variable, right, which we are having in vehicle. Here we are having max speed. You can also have max speed. So I will say 100. All right, it's done. Now we will say void display. We are creating one method actually here. Okay, and we'll say system.out.println. And in this we can say maximum speed. Right, maximum speed plus we will be doing this one actually. All right, done. Now what to do here is we have to have a main method to print it, right? Because our Java virtual machine understand or read the code from main method. So we'll say main method. We need one main method, right? Here we are not having a main method. We are having just class because here we don't want to do anything actually. Okay, so we want to print something else. So we'll say we'll create object of what? This class, right? So we'll say class, and we'll say we can do s or s1. Okay, it's a new, and then car. Okay, now let me see one dot. I'm calling this method actually. So s1 dot display, like sorry, display. This is the method. Where this method is this method is in tar class. This is tar class. This method display under tar class. Done. Now let's print this. Let's see this. So it's printing 100. Why it's printing 100? Why? Because here we have given the 100. That's why it's printing 100. But I don't want to refer this one actually. I want this variable value from my parent class, which is 120. I don't want this value actually. I want value from my parent class, because having the same, we are having the same variable, same name, makes speed. So what to do here? So before this variable name, what I can say super. As soon as I will be writing this one, let's run this now. It's referring my parent class variable. Now this one, and I can use it. Now it's not referring this one, child class object or child class variable. It's referring parent class variable. So this is one which we can do with the variable. Now let's look into a method. Okay, we'll see everything in this actually. So let me do one thing here. This one is done in V12. If I say let's create one more. Let's say let's change it. It's error because see the class name and this file name is different. I will just go and I will change it. Done. All right. Even if you want to have, you can have same name. That's fine. So we'll say we'll create one method here, void message. So now this is my in this class, which is a parent. I'm dealing with the parent. Let's consider this as a parent. So this is person class message is a method here. We'll say system.out.println, and we'll say this is a okay. Anything we can print here. Then now we don't have to do anything here. Now it's done. We'll come to car, which was the child one actually. So this one I can say student. This person is a student. Okay, and this one I can say inherit property of person. It's here. We'll be using this one. So there's a new. Okay, so let me read name. Now there's a new class student, and this student, which is a child class of person. Okay, we are extending here. Okay, so now we can access this method which we have in this main or I would say parent class. Okay, so let's come here. I will remove this one. So what I can do here is all right. So here I can say void message, the same name, right? System.out.println. I'll saying I'm just writing this because so you can understand like okay, this the statement is printing from which class or from which method actually. So this is a student because see this is we are having this method in a student class. It's a student class. Done. And if I say here, there's one more here. We'll say void display. Right. This display will say system.out.println. Or let's do one thing instead of this one. So this is my method. I want to use this. I want to call this method inside of this method. I can do one thing. What I can do here is I can say directly. I will just copy and paste it here. So whenever I'll be calling this method will be called and it will print what? It will be printed this one. I can have multiple. I can create here multiple method and I can recall them. I can say void or say get data, and I can say system.out.println. I'll say get data method, right? I need this method to be called in this one. I can simply copy and paste. I can use it within this method, which I can do. And this is the beauty. Why we use method? We use method so that we can call whenever I want. Right? This is the chunk of code. This is the statement, list of statement we have written in this method, and I want to reuse actually that code for some other reason or some other place. I can reuse it actually. So I don't need to write. If I want to write this one, why should I write? I can directly call this method and automatically this will be printed. That will solve my purpose. And that's why we use our method. All right. So this is there. Leave it like this. All right. So now what I can do here is, so this is one message, but let's come to, I will just comment this one for now. It will not work, right? Or let me remove it. I'll just explain you how a super keyword will be used actually. So this one, remove this one because I have removed that method. Now I have method which is a message. As soon as I will call this method will be called because I didn't use my super keyword with this. I can say one more thing here, super dot message. I have method in this display method. One is referring to this one and one is referring to the message which is I'm having in a parent. This is what we saw with the variable as well, right? As soon as we use super, it will start referring the parent class method or variable. So this is what I did here, right? So it's up to me what method I have to call. I can say come here. So this is super, and then we can say or all right, let's do it right here. So we'll say in here. All right. And what I want here, so I will be saying student s1 new done and yes. Now we'll say s1. Let's see what methods will be coming here. Leave this alone. Displays a method. Okay. So what I can do here is I can say I don't need to call this message because already I'm calling this message inside of this display. So as soon as I will call this display, this message method will be called. So I can do one thing. I can select display. Done. Let's run it now. So my cursor will come here. Object is created. This is what it's saying, display. So display method is calling. So this one is calling. Okay. So now in display, what we have? The first one we have is message. Which message? Without super. So this will be called. Student is calling for you because we have this is a student class. Second is referring to a parent class method. This one, if I come here, this is what I have in parent. This class is for person. Calling here. So I can use for my method, I can use for my variable, right? And it will work for you. All right. So this is how we work actually. So, okay. And there is one more idea. Let me remember that. Okay. Okay. There's one more here. So what we can do here is we have one more constructor. We can use, parent constructor. Actually, we can call parent constructor. So what we can do here is instead of this one, I'll be creating one more class here and I will explain like what it is actually. So the person is there. Okay. And in this person, if I'm saying, let's say person and method, I can do one thing. I can have a constructor. So this is my method. Let me do it here. Now it's not my method anymore, right? It's a constructor for me, right? Because I'm having same name as my class name, right? All right, this is done. And we can say parent class, or yeah, we can say here. All right, we can say here person constructor. Okay, that will give you more idea. All right, that's what we did here. Now let's do here. Let's go to the child one. So this is my child class. So what I can do here is in student. Let me remove everything from here. All right. So in this, what we can say, let's create one more constructor for this one. So this is my constructor. This constructor is belong to this one class because it's having same name. Let's say. Okay. Now we are writing one keyword here, which is super method. So this is my super method. So this is what I did. This is my keyword. What this is when I'm writing only just super dot something, which is my keyword. But here in this, I'm not writing super only. I'm not writing super dot any variable name here. Okay, on any method name here. I'm just having super method actually. So this is a method itself actually. Okay. When I write, this is a keyword. This is keyword. When I'm writing super and with two brackets, it will be a method. Super method. All right. So, all right. What I did, I created one constructor here. Here as well, I'm having constructor, same as your class name. All right. Let's come here now. So in this, I can say after this super, understand this, whether which one is calling, we'll write one statement here. We'll say system.out.println, it's student class constructor. All right. Why? Because so that you will understand, like, this statement is coming from this constructor, and this statement is coming from this constructor actually. All right. So now we are here, and we'll say main method. We need to print, right? So main method will create object of class, and we'll say s1. Just discuss, as soon as I will write this one, your constructor will be invoke. Okay, because I'm creating object. So this one is done here. So I don't need to write anything now. Why? Because I don't have any other method. I have only just one constructor here, same as my class name, because that's why I'm saying constructor here. And there's no separate method I'm having here for printing, because I can print my constructor as well, right? So it's up to me. If I want to have another method, I can have it another method, and I can print that. I mean, I can say like this, void display, and we'll say this. We'll say instead of this one, I can say this one as well. I can copy and paste here. But I'm not doing that actually. If I do this one, I will be writing s1 dot display, right? And then this will be printed. I don't want this. Remove it. I can print here in constructor as well. Okay. And for this one, I don't need that. I can do my all the work with this only. As soon as I will create any object, this method will be called. This, I mean, method is, I mean, like it's same as method, but yeah, this constructor will be called as soon as I create the object. Now, so okay, fine. So this will be a call. This is what I came to know, that this will be a call. So when this will be called, okay, when this constructor will be called, it will go to super. So what is super here? So if I come here, if I put my control, if I press my control button, and if I come here, it will give you option to open declaration, open implementation. Let's click on this. As soon as I'll click on this, it will refer to parent class constructor. As soon as if I come here, my focus there, I press control button, and if I click on open declaration, it will tell you that this will be called. It will navigate you to the method which will be called on a super method. So my focus will come here, okay, and this will be called. So what first statement will be printed? Person constructor will be printed, and then it will print this one. Let's run it now. Person constructor, this one is printing, and then if I come here, the second one is printing. So what basically we are doing here is like, where we have to write 4 lines of code, we are just reducing the code as well. We are just creating object and it's working everything for me. But we should know that, when we use super method or when we use super keyword, how it work. Here we just saw that, this keyword, this was using only within a class only, right, for class object or class variable. But this super keyword is, we can use this super keyword for parent class as well. Clear? So this is how a super keyword we use actually in a Java. Now we have a polymorphism, right? So let's come to that. So what is polymorphism? Overloading, overriding. We already saw all this actually. This is what we are doing here is actually just extending the class here, right? And we are using the property of parent class. We'll do the same here as well. The concept will be little different, but we'll be doing same thing. We'll be extending the class and we'll be using we'll do the inheritance and everything here. So let's do it here. So let's say you have one bank. So let's say here in this bank, you'll be having SBI, you will be having ICI, and also you will be having Axis Bank. Okay, so these are the bank you are having here. Now every bank will have a different kind of interest of rate, right? Let's say this will be giving something like this is giving 8.4 interest rate. This will be giving 7.4 or 5.5, or this will be giving something 7.5. Okay, so but all this belong to bank, right? So we can have one as a parent, or this is a child for me, right? So here we'll look into a overriding. So how it will work. So let's do one thing. Let's write one method. Let's write one program actually to understand this in better way. So if I come here, I will say overriding. Overriding means we are writing one method and another method we are writing. So here is overriding here. All right. All right. So here overriding is here, and we'll create one class. This class I can say bank. Bank is my parent. I can say bank. Okay. In this bank, normally in this bank, what I can say, I can create one variable float. Okay. So float, or I can do one thing. Instead of creating float variable, I can create one method here. So which will return a value. So we know that whenever we talk about interest of rate or something, it will come in decimal, right? So we can have float. That's why we are, so based on our condition actually, based on our requirement, we'll select the data type. So here we know we have to deal with this decimal values. So we are using a float. So we'll say get rate of interest. Okay. And method we discussed in last time that method can be void, which will not return any value, or which method can be have a data type as well. So here we are having data type, okay, which will return a value. So why we want to return a value? So that we can use that value in some other method, right? That's what we discussed last time. So let's divide this. Okay, so it's telling you that, you know, if you are using float, you need to have a return statement. Yeah, done. Now there's no issue. All right. So what we are saying, this is my now I'll be creating different classes for different bank. So if I come here, if I say my first one is, let's say, SBI. Now we have to use the method of this one, print one. What we do here, we use extend. We'll say bank. Bank is done. Now we can use that same method. All right. So what we're gonna do here is, we'll say, we'll just copy and paste here. Okay. Now, but SBI gives different. I mean, SBI give a different, you know, interest of rate. So what I can say here is, I can say 5.4 if. Then let's move one more. All right. So here bank, this is the standard one. Okay, the parent, but we can have same method here in this as well. We just saw that if I want to call the parent class method, you have to use a super keyword there, right? Before that method, we just finished that. Okay, so now we have created that SBI will give interest rate of, which is 8.4. F is for float. We have used for float. That's why we're using F here. Now let's create two more classes. One is for ICI and one for excess. So we'll say ICICI. Okay. Here again we need to do the same thing here. What we're gonna do? We need to extend the property of bank, which is possible. We saw that. We cannot do like this. A, B, C, then another class. It's not possible. But we can call, we can extend for one class actually. Class. We can again have this one. Let's say copy and paste. Then I can do 5.5, 5.4. It's up to me. Method is same. I can have one more here. I will be saying excess bank. All right. In this excess bank, it will be same. I can have a different figure actually. Different bank will give different rate of interest. I can say 7.4. So every bank is having a different interest rate actually. Now I'll be creating one last method, last class actually, to call all this. So I will be saying test polymorphism, because in this polymorphism there's overriding terms actually. Okay, so I will be saying I can create main method from here as well. Done. So what I can say here is, I can say polymorphism. Sorry. All right. So here I would say, see, now I think it's working fine. Let's run this now. Let's try to run now. See, I created an object which is static here. Now, if I come here, if I just go with the SBI, it will say 8.4, SBI 8.4 here. If I come here to my ICICI is here again. What I've given here 7.5, 7.4 is printing, and here if I come here, it's saying excess we have given the 7.4. So what basically we do actually, we just save it and it worked. So what basically we do in overriding, we have a same method name. In every class we are having same method name, and we are calling based on creating their object. So whatever I need to call, If I go to SBI, they will be having their separate interest of rate. If I go to ICI, they will be having separate. And if I go to Access, they will be having a separate interest of rate actually. So this is we call a overriding. If having one method on another actually. And based on our object, it will be called.